In this video, I will create and save two source records using a template and then create a source reference or source citation from one of the newly created sources. First off, a source template is not a source. Rather, it is a pattern used to create a description of a source that you can then reference or cite one or more times. Think of a source template as an empty or partially filled in form that you must complete before you can make a source reference. Let's assume that I plan to get all my census data, U.S. Census data, from images on FamilySearch.org. Then I can make a set of sources for the census years I have data for. Today I will create source records for the 1880 and the 1900 U.S. federal censuses using the appropriate template. First, I go to the source view. Then I click the Add button to create a new source. Then I click the Template button, which displays a list of templates arranged in a hierarchical tree by category. Well, isn't that amazing? rootsTrust has read my mind and opened the tree to exactly the template I was planning to use. That would be a nice feature, but actually I was in here earlier looking at this template, and rootsTrust always remembers which template you accessed last. I'll close up the tree and then drill down to the desired template to show you how it works. I open the census node, then click on United States to open that node, then federal, then 1880 to 1940 population schedules, and finally I select Image Online 27. The 27 within brackets is the template ID, which you normally will not have to concern yourself with. So I'll load the template. Notice that the template is partially filled in. At this point, I would like to mention that if my census data were coming from a different medium, such as a CD or microfilm, I would have chosen a different template, since the reporting criteria would be different than for online images. Now to completing the source record. I want to create a source entry for the 1880 U.S. federal census. Thus, I don't have to change the value in census ID, which is a combo box that contains entries for each census year between 1880 and 1940. I do, however, have to select a different website title because I'm using FamilySearch.org, and the drop-down list is arranged alphabetically, and Ancestry is thus the first entry in the drop-down list. If you are using census images from a different website, one that is not included in this drop-down list, no problem. Just type in the name of the website that you're using into this combo box. Now I need to add the URL of FamilySearch.org. I hope I'm not typing too fast for you. Now all that I have left to do is to come up with a value for the abbreviated name of source. I will use 1880 FC for federal census, OI for online image, and FS for family search. This is my own naming convention. Use whatever system works for you. Next, I click the Save button. Let me first make sure that I entered everything correctly. That looks okay. Click the Save button and I'm done. Notice that the entry has been added to the index here on the right side of the screen, and the index has scrolled to that entry and selected it. Now I will create an entry for the 1900 federal census using the same procedure. So I click Add, select the same template. This time I have to change the census ID to 1900. Family search, www. $1900 Federal Census online image, family search, and save. And again, you see that the new entry has been entered into the index, and the index has scrolled to it and selected it. If I wanted to, I could also generate sources for the 1890 and the 1910 through 1940 censuses using the same template. Why couldn't I do this for the 1790 or 1850 as well using this template? Because the reporting criteria are different for those census years. For that reason, there are separate templates for census years with similar reporting criteria. For example, the enumeration district needs to be reported, but that field did not exist on census forms prior to 1880. Now I'm going to create a reference to the 1900 census for a good-looking Swedish immigrant named Carl Edlund. I double-click his census entry and click on the References tab, and you'll see that it's empty. Now I right-click the mouse and select Reference Existing Source from the pop-up menu. Into the navigation field, I type 1900 to get into the general area in the list, and there it is, the entry that I just created. So I select that, and you can see that the information for the source has been filled in, and it's read-only. We can't change it. However, the bottom half of the form is the reference information, and we have to add that now. I will fill in the values from the information visible on the census page image. I have two video monitors, and on the one you can't see, my web browser is open to Family Search, displaying the census page in question. So the jurisdiction is Kings County, New York. The civil division is Borough of Brooklyn, City of New York. Page ID is 44. Census pages frequently have multiple page numbers on them. Some of them are handwritten, some of them are printed, others are stamped with a rubber stamp. And this is 44 was stamped with a rubber stamp. Dwelling number is 503. Family number is 4. Persons of interest, Carl W. Edlund family. Enumeration district is 128. sheet is 1A. Date is 28 April 2020. Now the credit line, which is the source of the source, I'm going to get that from Family Search web page. I'll show you. You can't see it, but I can swing that window over here, and this part of the page contains the citing information, citing the record. Now, the first three elements of this citing, enumeration, district, sheet, and family number, we already have. So I'm going to use this portion here. I'll get rid of this. I'll paste that in here. And I'm going to set the certainty. This is not an important field, but I like to use it. Now I'm finished. Now I can, one other thing I'd like to point out to you. If I click on the Citations tab and then select the Generate Citations command, the full and abbreviated citations will be generated according to the rules established by Elizabeth Shown Mills. These citations are used in reports, in rootsTrust reports, such as the narrative report and the curriculum vitae. So that concludes this video. Please be sure to watch the other source reference videos. Thank you.